Yo, what's good, chat? Hey, we reacting to the newest death battle. We watching Bakugo versus Reeze. Today we're actually reacting pretty fucking early compared to every other day we've been doing it recently. But hey, in any case, I've been actually hyped for this one. I honestly got Bakugo. If Reeze pulls this shit off, I'm gonna be genuinely surprised. But I genuinely think I got Bakugo. Bakugo's the GOAT. Yeah, Bakugo, I think my favorite character and fucking my hero. So hey, let's see. Let's see how this one goes. But hey, chat, if y'all been fucking the content, like, comment, and subscribe down below. But hey, it just helps with the algorithm. Oof. If you can't tell, I'm baked. But no, I think I said that properly. But hey, in any case, chat, let's hop in before I start yapping.
What?
There's a nod. There we go. There's the intro I know.
Versus Reeze,
The god of explosions versus the bomb devil.
he's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would
I
win
got Bakugo
a
still,
death
generally.
battle.
Wiz, there's nothing like the smell of napalm in the morning, the rush of the shockwave, the flash of combustion. I love it when stuff goes boom.
And no one knows that feeling better than Katsuki Bakugo.
When your name literally means powerful bomb, it's no wonder he
Yeah.
was born with the quirk Explosion. It lets Bakugo create humongous kabooms from his palms. I could only dream of having hands that rad.
Quirks are genetic superpowers that most humans are born with. Bakugo inherited his quirk from his parents. Specifically, it was a combination of his father's combustible acid sweat and his mother's glycerin skin secretions.
Making Bakugo sweat basically like nitroglycerin. And the more he sweats, the bigger the booms. His parents basically made the perfect kid.
The perfect
absolutely
bomb.
oozing with shonen main character energy.
Bakugo felt similarly. So much so that he started bullying his childhood friend who happened to be born without a quirk.
Yeah, okay, he's kind of a snot-nosed turd, so...
Nah, he was an asshole at the start. At the start, I fucking hated Bakugo. Nah, I did hate Bakugo. I'm not gonna cap. He was a bitch.
Times, but come on, Wiz! The kabooms! They're
His
so
development
cool.
is insane.
Quirks are a natural biological feature of a person's body. In the same way that we don't really think about walking or breathing, Bakugo's explosions became like any other limb, especially with his rigorous training.
Bakugo quickly picked up on how to use his explosions to obliterate anything in sight, block attacks, launch himself around, and quickly to obliterate.
With his rigorous training.
Look at this
quickly
shit. This,
picked up on how
that
to use
one
his
fucking
explosions
explosion
to
in the,
obliterate anything
in the
in
UA
sight,
games I love.
block attacks, launch himself
shit and
around,
this shit.
and quickly maneuver in midair
And
at
that.
hypersonic speeds, which requires a ton of focus and on-the-fly
I love the way he
calculations.
fucking fights.
And despite getting this incredibly dangerous quirk when he was 4, he somehow never killed himself or anyone else that we know of. Bakugo was truly a prodigy, destined for greatness.
And his only goal was to surpass Japan's numero uno superhero and his personal idol, All Might. In Bakugo's mind, the only person who wins no matter what. Absolute victory. No problem for the main character.
Except Katsuki wasn't the protagonist that he thought he was. That would be Izuku Midoriya, the quirkless child Bakugo bullied. In truth, he was threatened by Izuku's
yeah.
tenacity despite being quirkless.
Really?
And then he got a quirk with that fucking willpower. Yeah, that shit's insane.
Crybaby's the main character? Well, Bakugo's inferiority complex would only get worse when Deku somehow landed a quirk that was just as cool, and both were accepted to the same superhero high school, UA High.
There, he would learn to be a superhero and fully develop his ultimate moves.
Like flying through the sky faster than sound with turbo speed, blinding people with stun grenade, focusing his blasts into armor-piercing shots, or making a big-ass tornado of death.
The howitzer impact involves Bakugo spinning himself in midair with his explosions, building up a tremendous amount of swirling oxygen, and then igniting it all for one hell of a boom.
He's pretty
Nah,
smart
bro.
when it comes to strategizing mid-fight.
And he knows how to use his
He even
quirk.
developed new techniques for his quirk faster than Deku did.
UA High also aided Bakugo's development by preparing him with his iconic Grenadier bracers, gauntlets that allow him to store up his sweat, gross, for prolonged bouts, or to release all of it at once in a single massive blast.
He's also got his hero suit, which helps him sweat
Which is
faster in
low-key
order to build up stronger attacks. Or the
Or-
Strafe Panzer, these badass turrets mounted to his back that store his sweat as ammo. With all of that, it wasn't long before Bakugo made his hero debut, called the Bombshell Hero, Great Explosion Murder God, Dynamite. Hey, I dig it. The more colons, the merrier.
But despite some early wins, Bakugo failed to live up to his own sky-high expectations. He had the makings of a great hero, if only he could get out of his own way and put the team before his ego.
Especially when he was kidnapped by the League of Villains, ultimately leading Bakugo to blame himself for All Might's retirement.
Yeah.
Something needed to change.
I love
So
that
he
season.
vented his
That's
frustrations
where
in a slugfest.
besides the war, that's probably where he had one of the most fucking highest developments. Like here, this fight was huge. This fight was beautiful.
With Deku and realized something crucial. That the kind of absolute victory that defined All Might wasn't victory for himself, but victory for everyone.
He was starting to become the prodigy everyone knew he could be. I mean, hell, even while he was unconscious, he kept analyzing the fight he was in and coming up with counters. Somehow,
Bakugo's powerful enough to shatter Todoroki's heaven-piercing ice wall, fast enough to keep up with villains like Shigaraki, who can catch lightning, and tough
that
enough
fight
to
was...
survive, well,
being
That.
dead. Yep, you heard us. Bakugo was killed, dead as a doornail. And then a single bead of sweat floating through his bloodstream detonated and restarted his heart. If that isn't main character plot armor, I don't know what is.
his stamina is perhaps the craziest thing about him. After all, he is tanking the recoil of all of his explosions.
Even with the overuse of his blasts literally tearing his body apart, he kept trying to make him stronger, and eventually his
He
quirk
did.
awakened.
Essentially, when a quirk evolves to become stronger. Now, by condensing his explosions into smaller and more powerful clusters, Bakugo could enhance all of his techniques.
Like the Howitzer Impact Cluster, a stunning achievement in the field of explosionology, or Kaboom Theory for the
Kaboom
layman.
Theory?
Powerful enough to shatter the side of a mountain, or blow apart Uehai itself. Judging by the school's size, we can estimate Bakugo's Howitzer Impact Cluster yielded over 300 kilotons of TNT.
Given Bakugo's whole deal is explosions, it makes sense to science out what a ton of TNT actually is. It's literally the energy contained in 1,000 kilograms of trinitrotoluene.
A chemical compound composed of hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, and carbon.
That's the recipe for kabooms. Now, imagine a pile of TNT as big as the Empire State Building blowing up all at once. That's Bakugo's Howitzer Impact Cluster.
And these explosions can launch him so fast.
As big as
Bakugo's big as the Empire State Building
Goddamn.
blowing up all at once. That's Bakugo's Howitzer Impact Cluster.
And these explosions can launch him so fast, it's like time stands still around him.
Like when he covered a huge part of this city in a fraction of a second, almost 400 times the speed of sound.
And that's not all.
Nah, bro.
Now he can detonate his sweat remotely.
If
And
Bakugo loses this, I'm actually gonna be pissed. Genuinely, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Nah, I know I sound like I'm glazing, I'm dick riding. I don't care. Bro, Bakugo can actually not
from
lose
all
this.
over his body, not just his palms.
With all of this crazy bullshit, Bakugo became one of the strongest heroes on Earth, enough to battle and defeat All Might's lifelong arch nemesis, All for One. Yeah, that's right, the main villain. Who's the protagonist now, Deku?
Bakugo literally and figuratively surpassed his childhood idol and proved his mettle as a hero.
Number 5 on the rankings and rising. Not bad, Kachan.
But more important than proving it to his friends, to All Might, or even to Deku, he proved it to himself.
Yeah, whatever. Take that, losers! Sickest quirk in the world over here! Dynamite! 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 Wiz, what happened to you?
Hey,
You look
nah, that's a nah.
Hell,
Loki
world
fucked up
of
my
all
joke on
war,
while I was reacting.
famine, conquest.
Fuck it.
Humanity has
Bring
been
back.
plagued by
We're
all
back.
manner of ills since they first crawled out of the primordial ooze. In the world of Chainsaw Man, there is nothing to fear but fear itself.
Because fear itself is real,
Aye.
and they're called devils.
Literally devils from hell. These monstrous beings are the living embodiments of humanity's worst nightmares, and their power is directly proportional to that fear.
So the chicken devil might be so weak you could keep him as a class pet, like, you know, a chicken. But what about the bat devil, or the ghost devil, or the devil embodying man's fears of one of the greatest weapons it's ever created, the bomb devil?
Bomb Devil's current host, Reeze, if that even is her real name.
She might look cute and kawaii, but she's actually a Soviet
Russian?
assassin. trained from birth to be one of the deadliest killers on the planet. Basically a Black Widow. A cold and lonely existence for anyone, but quadruply so in a world as effed up as this.
But all Reeze wanted was a safe, normal, quiet life. As much a fable to her as Aesop's country mouse.
Too bad! You are now a walking, talking explosive. Have fun.
At some point, the girl known as Reeze was implanted with a fragment of the bomb devil and became a hybrid. A human possessing a devil's powers without sacrificing their humanity, transforming their body into a living weapon.
As a hybrid, Reze's strength and speed are way crazier than a normal human's. And with her martial arts training, she's a force to be reckoned with up close. Also, Wiz, check out the bomb for a head!
Someone like Reeze would eat you alive, literally.
Yeah.
Should devils like Reeze take any damage whatsoever,
they
can heal
heal
by consuming blood.
And that lets hybrids survive some pretty insane stuff, like having their limbs torn off, getting bisected clean in half, or being roasted alive. Just slurp some blood and they're good as new.
Especially useful considering the bomb devil's primary ability is literally blowing herself up. Reeze can emit explosions from any surface of her body, even tearing off limbs and turning them into bombs that she can detonate at will.
Damn,
Yeah, she
that's
was throwing her
hardcore.
fucking head
She
around.
can use these blasts to jet through the sky at hypersonic speeds, maneuver and redirect
hypersonic. Yeah.
herself in midair, and enhance the strength and speed of her blows.
Or Reeze can send sparks that can ignite the atmosphere in explosions that tear apart entire cities. Making herself stronger, the more fear her wanton destruction creates.
I don't think she's stronger.
As long as the area around her is dry
faster.
enough to maintain ignition, Reeze can create as many explosions as
Maybe
she wants.
more versatile.
Non-stop.
Maybe. Oof, that seems horrid. That seems tough. But nah, maybe she's more versatile.
In ignition, Reeze can create as many explosions as she wants, non-stop.
She can even turn her own body into different types of real-world bombs to massively enhance their power.
Like transforming her leg into a torpedo, or her apron into dynamite. Every single inch of Reeze is a living weapon.
This made her feared across the devil world as one of their mightiest warriors, and the perfect choice to assassinate Japan's newly acquired devil hybrid, Chainsaw Man.
You see, you might not think chainsaws are all that scary, at least not compared to bombs, but the Chainsaw Devil is special.
Any devil the Chainsaw Devil consumes becomes deleted from reality, retroactively erased from humanity's collective consciousness.
And here I thought chainsaws were for boring stuff like trees or Texas massacres. Silly me.
This ability makes the Chainsaw Devil the most important being alive and invaluable for any global power to control.
Except instead of meeting the fearsome chainsaw of legend, Reeze met Denji, a dumb, horny teenage boy just looking for anyone, to love.
And for once, Reeze actually hesitated. Rather than immediately kill her target, she got to know him and found they weren't so different. Both were used as tools of the state, as weapons of war rather than people. A kindred spirit in a hostile world, Denji wanted to drink up as much of the excitement
I
of
wish
life
it could
as he
actually be
could.
together, bro.
The town mouse to her country mouse.
And thankfully, he was super easy for a pretty face to manipulate.
It wouldn't be the only time.
Reze's nothing if not professional, and she gave Denji one parting gift. To teach him the way devils did battle before he died.
As the embodiment of one of the deadliest weapons known to man, Reze's power is off the charts, capable of creating an explosion more than 400 meters in diameter. That's over 4 football fields long.
To have a blast that size, you'd need to be exploding with over 2 kilotons of TNT.
More than
Isn't Bakugo like a 300?
comparable to nuclear weapons, which is really impressive considering Reeze is not the devil of nuclear bombs. That's apparently an entirely separate thing.
Despite her bombs being technically conventional, they're just that strong.
Likely comparable to other powerful devils like the Gun Devil, who could travel across the world and kill millions of people in 5 minutes.
That'd be over 500 times the speed of sound.
She's even stronger than the Typhoon Devil, a sentient city-spanning storm.
The literal coughing baby to her hydrogen
Coughing
bomb.
baby.
Unfortunately for Reeze, Denji took her lessons to heart and proved he was more than a fitting host for the Chainsaw Devil.
He whooped her ass, but spared her life, just in case her seduction wasn't a total act after all.
But it wasn't meant to be. Whether Reeze chose the safe life of the country mouse or the exciting life of the town mouse, there are hungry cats everywhere.
Oh, Makima, what I would give to find someone to kill you.
Reze's dreams of freedom were never realized. She simply changed hands from one cold, unfeeling entity to another. And this time, there was no escape. She was a weapon, a symbol of man's bottomless capacity for malice and self-destruction.
A living bomb. The
I got
battle's
Bakugo.
about to start,
I
and
still
I
got-
hope you...
Add. I sensed it.
Battle!
And we've run the data through all possibilities.
I think she only got
Time
skill
for a
set,
death
maybe.
battle!
There's no way she's faster or stronger. No way.
I've been sent to collect your head, Dynamite.
Hard.
Better villains than you have tried, lady. You tell your bosses that.
Not like that.
Send you back in a coffin.
How
Nah,
would I
she-
tell them that if I was already dead? Wow, you're quick.
Shut up and die! Oh, damn! Oh, damn! Oh, it's impact!
Stop.
Move it or lose it, people!
Save me, Dynamite!
Let go of me!
Boom.
Nah, this bitch is tricky. This bitch is tricky.
Leave them out of this!
Oh. What the fuck?
For what it's worth, Dynamite, your blood was delicious.
You bit off a bit more than you could chew! My blood
Nah,
isn't
bro.
the only thing you drank! It's my sweat you should worry about, dumbass!
Huh. Doesn't plan.
I'm aiming for absolute victory! Howitzer!
Oh my god.
Impact! Lobster!
That's tough. That's tough.
Scratch that. Not enough for a coffin.
Oh my god. That was hard. What the fuck? Nah, bro. GG's. Death Battle, you did your thing. What the fuck?
KO! Oh, Denji, we're so sorry to hear about your girlfriend that passed away. She gets 5 big booms. Boom! Boom!
Please just shut up. On the surface, these two
5 big
seem
booms.
evenly matched. So let's break this fight down into 3 categories: their speed, their stamina, and their firepower.
First up, let's talk speed.
Both Bakugo and Reeze could rocket through the sky at hypersonic speeds and maneuver and redirect themselves on a dime in the middle of fights. To the casual observer, at least, they'd seem to be on par with each other.
So we have to look at the people they've fought to compare.
Reeze has battled Chainsaw Man, who could match and defeat someone using the Gun Devil's power.
The same gun devil that could literally fly around the world, killing millions of people at over 500 times the speed of sound.
Impressive, but compare that to Bakugo fighting
Bakugo's speed
Shigaraki,
faster than
who
light.
could react fast enough to catch light beams with his bare hands.
That's over 1,000 times faster. And that was before Bakugo's quirk awakening that made him even faster than that.
With reaction speed of that caliber, there's little chance Reeze could ever get the drop on Bakugo, and would likely be forced to play catch-up in a duel.
Yeah.
Speed goes to Bakugo.
W. They call that shit right. W.
However, speed doesn't matter if one couldn't truly hurt the other. A big part of this fight is their stamina.
Bakugo's durability is mind-boggling. He's survived being impaled through the torso and has even brought himself back to life.
But, unlike Reeze, his stamina does eventually hit a limit. Every explosion he makes whittles him down just a little bit more, and uses up more and more of his sweat. Without a break, he can eventually run out.
Whereas Reeze can effectively create bombs without respite, and from a distance.
Unlike
Reeze
Bakugo, who
definitely has a lot
usually
of
likes to
stamina.
get up close and personal.
Furthermore,
I
her
forgot about
devil
stamina.
hybrid physiology gives her an actual regenerative healing factor, allowing her to shrug off the same kind of mortal blows that would eventually kill Bakugo, main character plot armor or not.
If this ever became a war of attrition, Reeze had it in the bag. Stamina goes to Reeze.
However, it's unlikely it would ever get to that point. The biggest factor in this fight was always going to be their raw firepower.
Explosions! First, we gotta compare their two biggest blasts, Reze's nuclear-like bomb against Denji versus Bakugo's howitzer impact cluster.
And the difference is obvious. Based on calculating their sizes, Bakugo's 300 kiloton explosion was over 100 times more powerful than Reze's 2 kiloton blast.
Yeah,
But
I
that's
call
not
that.
all.
I call
Remember
that.
the Typhoon Devil.
Coughing baby or not, to create a storm big enough to cover Tokyo's over 2,000 square kilometers, he'd have to be generating more than 400 kilotons of TNT.
Greater than Bakugo, right? But that's not all. Again, Bakugo's howitzer impact once shattered the size of this big-ass mountain. And despite being earlier on in the series, it was ginormous. Almost 3 kilometers in radius.
Or just over 2 megatons of TNT. 5 times more powerful than the Typhoon Devil, and
I
way
told
beyond
y'all.
anything we've seen
I
Reeze
fucking
do.
knew
And
it.
this was Bakugo before reaching his full power in his fight against All for One. Bakugo takes the final edge in explosions.
And remember, Bakugo withstands the recoil of all his blasts. So even though Reeze had greater stamina, Bakugo was more than tough enough to hang on and get his kill shot, especially with his superior speed.
And devil
Speed,
healing factors
strength.
can be overtaxed with enough
Huh.
damage. Hell, she needed to drink blood a couple times against Denji just to keep fighting.
Against someone as fast and powerful as Bakugo, she would not get the chance to heal consistently, or perhaps at all.
And what happens when devils die? They Bakugo
Yeah.
to
Get the
hell.
fuck out. Get the fuck out. Alright. Nah. Bro, sometimes that shit happens realistically. Like, I'm happy Bakugo won. I know he had speed and strength. I didn't know they were gonna put stamina in there. I should have known stamina was the one that she would win. But I mean, it makes sense that she won that. But hey, chat. In any case, that was the W Death Battle. But animation-wise, Death Battle. I've seen y'all do better. I'm not gonna cap. That one's like a 7.5. Yeah, 7.5, 8 out of 10. But hey, chat. In any case, hey, if y'all been fucking with the content, like, comment, and subscribe down below. Hey, it just helps with the algorithm. And hey, let's hop right into the next before I start yapping.